Imagine talking to someone, and without realizing it, they slowly gain control over your thoughts, emotions, and decisions. They know exactly what to say, exactly when to say it. And by the time you notice what's happening, it's already too late. This is called dark psychology. Today, we're exposing the most powerful dark psychology tricks people use every single day. In relationships, friendships, business, social media, and even politics. But make sure you stay until the end, because the final tactic is so dangerous that once you notice it, you'll never see people the same way again. Dark psychology is the study of manipulation, influence, deception, and mental control. It focuses on understanding how people exploit emotions, fear, trust, and vulnerability to gain power over others. Now, not all persuasion is evil, but dark psychology crosses the line when someone intentionally manipulates another person for selfish gain. And the reason it's so effective is because it targets human psychology at its weakest points. Manipulators understand one terrifying truth: people are emotional before they are logical. That's why manipulation works so well. The first tactic is called love bombing. This happens when someone overwhelms you with affection, compliments, attention, and validation very quickly. They text constantly. They say things like, "I've never met anyone like you. You're perfect. We're soulmates." At first, it feels amazing, but this isn't genuine love. It's emotional conditioning. The manipulator creates emotional dependency so you become attached fast. Then once they know you're emotionally invested, everything changes. The affection disappears, the attention fades, and suddenly you're chasing the same validation they once gave freely. That emotional roller coaster creates addiction, and that's exactly what they want. Gaslighting is one of the most dangerous manipulation tactics ever created. This is when someone makes you question your own memory, perception, or sanity. For example, you're overreacting. That never happened. You're imagining things. Over time, the victim starts doubting themselves, and once someone loses trust in their own judgment, they become easier to control. That's why gaslighting is so powerful. It slowly destroys confidence while increasing dependence on the manipulator. The scary part? Many victims don't even realize it's happening until years later. Silence can be a weapon. Manipulators often use the silent treatment to punish people emotionally. They ignore messages, avoid eye contact, act cold for no reason. Why? Because humans naturally crave emotional connection, and when someone suddenly removes attention, affection, or communication, your brain starts panicking. You begin asking, "What did I do wrong? How do I fix this?" That gives the manipulator power. The silent treatment isn't communication. It's emotional control disguised as distance. Have you ever met someone who seemed exactly like you? Same interests, same opinions, same energy. That's sometimes called mirroring. Manipulators copy your personality traits to build trust quickly, because psychologically, people trust people who remind them of themselves. Salespeople use this, scammers use this, even highly persuasive public figures use it. And once trust is established, influence becomes much easier. That's why some people instantly feel too perfect. Sometimes it's compatibility, sometimes it's strategy. Fear is one of the strongest human emotions. And manipulators know fear overrides logic. That's why toxic people often create fear intentionally. Fear of losing them, fear of rejection, fear of being alone, fear of failure, because fearful people are easier to control. Think about it. When people panic, they stop thinking clearly. This tactic is used everywhere: relationships, advertising, politics, social media. Fear keeps attention locked in, and attention is power. This tactic starts small. A manipulator asks for a tiny favor first, something harmless. Then, gradually, the requests become bigger and bigger. Psychologists discovered that once people commit to something small, they're more likely to continue saying yes later. This is called behavioral consistency. It's why scams often begin with tiny requests before escalating into major manipulation. By the time victims realize what's happening, they're already psychologically invested. Now here's the most dangerous dark psychology tactic of all: isolation. Manipulators slowly separate victims from friends, family, and support systems. They say things like, "They don't really care about you. You only need me. They're against us." Why? Because isolated people are easier to influence. Once someone loses outside perspectives, the manipulator becomes their main source of emotional reality. And that's terrifying, because control becomes nearly absolute. This tactic appears in toxic relationships, cults, abusive friendships, and even online communities. And by the time many people recognize it, they already feel trapped. Dark psychology exists everywhere. The goal of this video isn't to make you paranoid, it's to make you aware. Because once you recognize manipulation, it loses power over you. So the next time someone makes you question yourself, fear losing them, or feel emotionally controlled, pay attention. You might be dealing with manipulation instead of genuine connection. If you enjoyed this video, hit subscribe for more psychology and human behavior content, and comment below, which dark psychology tactic do you think is the most dangerous?